Good evening and welcome to another scene in Odessa, The Dark Crusade, Season 2. Lady Madeline, Sister Madeline, Seneschal Madeline, as some is now calling her, which is only proper, I suppose. She is in a place she is not very often. She's currently walking with her two boys, her two ghouls, she has announced her presence. She's not trespassing, but she is on the domain of another clan, a clan that she is on good terms, relatively good terms with. But few kindred has probably picked up on the fact that she is somewhat distant whenever one of the clan of lords is around. She seems a little standoffish towards them, towards any of their number, whatever the reason for this. I honestly don't know, but seems to be quite rare that she actively goes to mingle with the Zimitzi. Today she is seemingly moving towards the Mitzi domain. What is the reason for this? We are about to find out.
Indeed she is. As Madeline comes up upon the very edge of the domain, you are greeted firstly by the patrolling uh, Orso. And as you kind of look to step, he kind of looks over to you. He kind of waggles his head like an animal does.
As soon as she sees Orso, remembering from the harrowing night that was quite the experience for most people. Deep, deep underground. She will nod to him and just greet him, actually, and she will just say, "Ah, good evening."
Orso kind of grunts. Evening. You are the one from the place with rats, yes?
Quite so. I know that we did not have much time to chat, but, well, we all had our hands full.
Yes, Orso's hands were full with blood and intestines. It was good. It was good fight.
Very well. She just seems to take in this attitude, this way of looking at things. She doesn't react too much to it, but still just, she just nods, looks at him, and just says, "Why? I am on business, but we must speak together soon. Um, I hope we can talk together. Perhaps you would do me the honor of visiting the Elysium in Timaran. It is opens in a day or two.
Orso kind of scratches on his helmet. Orso must do what elders say. Why is Big Shadow here? And why not pretty Irene here?
Oh, I am sad to hear that you do not find me pretty. She obviously grins. Irene has much to see to, as I do, but I am here on business. I have something that has been troubling me, I suppose.
And he kind of looks at the area around its wall, and he goes, "Enter. Who is it that has wronged you?"
I do not believe I said that anyone had wronged me.
You would not be here if someone did not upset you, or so is
Perhaps I
not.
am concerned about something. That is in fact why I'm here.
Very well. And he directs you towards uh, a thing that kind of looks a bit like a modified fortress. It looks like a rather large building that's been, again modified, in, fairly easily. It's a Mitzi Domains kind of headquarters, if you will, the communal haven or what have you. And you enter in, and you see the stonework. It's very reminiscent of kind of the stonework that you saw in the catacombs. Very, very kind of ancient, kind of mucky in places.
Hmm.
And as you two come inside, the person that you are looking for speaks to Orso. Orso, my dear, who is it that you have allowed inside without my permission? And she walks over to Orso and kind of pets him under the chin like an animal. And he goes, "Big Shadow." And she looks at Madeline and smiles. "Ah, yes, Sister Madeline. Good boy, Orso. Have you been learning your manners?" And Orso kind of shakes his head, uh, nodding. And she goes, "Good. Return to your room and practice your discipline, my dear. You have much to learn." And she smiles to you, Madeline. She kind of bows herself rather dramatically. "Sister Madeline, Seneschal of Timoran, and Ancilla of Losambre. It is a pleasure to have you here within the Semitsi domain.
It is an honor to be welcomed by such a illustrious host. How's the season night find you?
She kind of chuckles a bit. Why, it is a very entertaining night, to say the least. There has been talk, it seems, of people lining to join the Praxis, throw their hands into the ring with the Elysium of Timurin. Well, many things are happening, aren't they?
We hope to resolve, well, maybe not resolve, but help as much as we can to resolve this situation.
And I am
A
certain.
freedom without a prince is not good for anyone in the city.
No, it's not. But with no prince, everyone is, at the very least, making sure to not step on toes, I guess. I would have thought some of the lesser clans would have already tried to tear each other apart, like the Gangrel, for example. They are very, very astute, kindred, but they lack the elegance. Wouldn't you agree? That's why it's so important that they are treated, educated more civilly. And she kind of smiles as she says those words.
I appreciate them for what they are. They know another aspect of the beast that we all share, yet is different from all. I can respect the knowledge that they hold, as I can respect your knowledge and my own. But hmm, manners can be taught quite easily. Strength and restraint, control of one's beast. However, might likely it might also be able to be taught. It seems to be a hard lesson to learn from many people. A mutual friend of ours, for instance, Lady Julia.
Uh, yes, Lady Julia. Unfortunately, I have not seen her in quite a few nights. I am certain, of course, the primitive has been rather restrained, it seems, with everything that has gone on, it seems. But that is to be expected, I would assume, being that their domain had for the longest time been compromised.
Hmm, true, but no longer it seems.
No, and I am happy for it. Though, with Julia, of course, she was learning the resolve of having to withhold your blood. Very important, after all.
We never shared the blood. I want a connection between people to be true, not enforced by the blood. It seems a little almost like cheating.
Let me see. There we go. Let me see. Here. Here we go. She is going to use read the soul on you. And let me see here. Let's see if I get anything with her. Oh, goodness. As you say this, and goodness, as you say this, tempting at the very least the keeping a rather cordial. Goodness. Now my computer's going slow. Rather cordial kind of politeness with your words. You notice she studies your body. One success. Okay. Since I only got one success, she can only distinguish only the shade, pale or bright, obviously. Since we already know you're a kindred, that doesn't really help. But it can see just a tiny sliver of what your aura looks like. Very, 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 very small. What is Madeline feeling at the moment?
Well, due to certain other things that have happened recently, Madeline is quite content, quite happy. A certain event that has happened some nights ago have generally filled her with happiness. She is happy. There is concern in there as well. And feeling of maybe regret that she has waited. A bit of shame that she's waited this long, maybe because she is a little afraid of the Sumitsi in general, but wow.
Nice little kind of myriad of colors, basically.
But what she can see, what Nasisa can see, is probably happiness. And that's the first one. That's the one she can see.
That's she smiles at the kind of looking over your aura, if only for a minute amount. And she goes, "You seem quite happy. I wonder what has gotten you, Madeline, so excited in such a manner. You were never that happy with Julia, no? Is it perhaps your little dog?" She smiles rather. Again, she smiles rather sweetly, rather as one does, but you know that she is shit talking the fuck out of Thorvald.
Well, he is quite enjoyable. That is 3 successes on a manipulation subterfuge.
Okay.
He does make me happy. It is also the fact that we are going to be holding an Elysium, which is a thing that some of us, I do believe you as well, enjoy very much. And the plague is winding down.
Yeah.
There are many reasons for me to be quite happy.
Yes. I suppose so. I do have to thank you for the actions that happened with Julia. If I would have been completely distraught if she had been destroyed for her actions. Her being punished, of course, is natural. I'm certain she has learned her lesson. If only she would come back and allow me to keep educating her, that would be far, far better for both of us.
Hmm. I
But
believe so. Please. And she just, like, the ghouls are standing some ways away. She just gives them, like, a nod to sit down. And is there a place we could sit, perhaps?
she smiles as she kind of claps her hands, very much like how a regal person would, very slow clap. And before you know it, there are three chairs uh, presented for you. Hers is a little bit nicer. Do you want to? Do you want to touch the chairs? Do you? Because they're leather chairs. Very nice. Very nice chairs.
Um, Madeline will sit in one of them.
Okay. You essentially, as you know, you sit down in the chair. Uh, you kind of feel as if something kind of heaves, as if something is kind of taking your weight and as it's kind of leveling out. And she sits in her chair. She sits in it very calmly, despite the fact that her chair you can kind of see, despite the fact it's leather, an unusual color of leather. A little more auburn than leather should, I think. She must get it imported. Very nice.
Chairs are made of people! Sorry. I will roll my courage. Or is it willpower? I will be checking.
I think if it's a phobia, I think it's your courage, I believe. Since it's something that you're literally afraid of.
Yeah, I would
Like
think
what?
so. Uh, and here we go. Pause. Spence is thrown off the hook. God damn it. It's in the other book. Of course it is. I am very sorry for this. There we go. Oh yeah, you have courage roll. What would you say what would you say the difficulty is for this?
It would have to be like, shit. What is your fluff? Phobia is what? I'm assuming it's a. Is it a physical?
It's a courage roll, but it's standard difficult. Well, it says the difficulty of the roll is determined by the storyteller. So.
Okay. I will ask you this then: How horrified is Madeline of vicissitude on a scale of 1 to 10? How bad is
it? Is a phobia. It's not as though she is that horrified by it. It's more it's more of a flashback thing. It's more of a remembrance of certain things, of probably the one time she was closest to meeting final death. And that involved quite a bit of vicissitude on herself while she was being kept prisoner. This makes it like a fairly grim reminder to her whenever she's confronted by it. So I would say it's difficulty 7, probably. Yeah, it's probably difficulty 7.
Let us go with that then.
She actually has a success. And I will roll to see a manipulation subterfuge to see if she has 3 successes to appear as this is totally normal and she is not bothered by this at all. Even though probably her beast, well, probably not her beast, it's probably all Madeline just saying, like, you want to get out of here and you probably should, really fast. But Madeline grits her teeth and just sits there and smiles politely.
She's going to be doing another perception empathy, and she gets nothing out of it. So she honestly thinks that you are currently enjoying yourself. And she kind of claps her hand again, and one of the servants brings a very nice table with goblets on them. The goblets themselves are very beautiful, kind of silver. There is engraving on it of kind of looks like it looks a little bit like the Samisi's coat of arms, the kind of strange creature on it, I think, with some very soft red kind of jewels upon it. And there is a wine bottle brought with a nice, decent concoction of very spicy wine. You can actually smell it. She tells the servant to give you one of the goblets. And she goes, I hope you can drink this, my dear. I wouldn't want you to have any problems.
Oh, I do believe that. Depends
You
on
are
if
my...
you only have the best of vintage.
Of course. This is an imperial. Yes, an imperial spiced wine. And she goes, the vintage was from, let's see, this is the 1100s, roughly 1200s. So it is from about 200 years ago, like 200 before. So not a decent vintage, I would say. And you see her taking her cup and drinks it rather slowly.
Madeline will smile to her and do the same. And she will notice that Madeline will just drink it. Seems to enjoy the flavor. Sits a little with her cup, just twirling it around.
And you can, as you kind of taste the spice, you can very much detect the very subtle iron. You know that this is Gould blood, probably not, or at least kind blood, human blood has been mixed with it to kind of give it something that vampires can enjoy.
Quite delicious.
Isn't it so? I made sure to get only the finest brand after all. And as you're my guest, why can I not indulge you as I indulge myself? Unfortunately, when it comes to other guests, they are not as welcome to such hospitality.
I am sure you are a pristine example of your clan's hospitality.
Of course, I am a beacon. Aside from our primogen, of course, her delightfulness is second only to her generosity and beautiful, beautiful movement of everything she does.
Hmm. I must ask you, when you said education, was it in etiquette exclusively when you taught our dear Lady Julia? Or did you have other things that you wished to impress upon her?
Well, when it came to when it comes to Julia, I wanted to impress upon her the importance of pain, that the pain of the heart is needed to teach us about ourselves, about the world, about the people that we let in, that to be stronger, we have to not cordon off our feelings. No, we should let our feelings come forth. Let them be pierced and damaged and burned and many other ways that our hearts and our feelings can be wounded. Because in doing so, we become stronger for it. Is that not a very important lesson? It would seem to be a very important life lesson.
It was, quite frankly, the same lesson I wished to impress upon her. How would she react? How would she fare when she felt the betrayal?
Well, I can tell you how she felt. She felt disgusted, ashamed, but I told her it was all important. That this pain, this betrayal she felt was natural. We are Canaanites after all. It is in our nature to betray each other, to hurt one another. But we need to learn from such betrayal, from such pain, and we can become far stronger because of it. And I believe that my dear Julia has grown much stronger, and I've seen it the times that I have seen her, if only for the briefest of moments. She is ever so busy. The loss of the sheriff and her Imogen's own issues have made it difficult. But you understand. You understand my reasons to do so. I cannot fault you for helping her to learn.
I'm going to use read the soul,
Okay.
and I fail. So yeah, Madeline's just gonna stare at her as she talks, but she's not gonna get anything. She just says, "Do you take this as mm, a lesson for yourself and her? Something that everyone should heed, or is it more for your an effort to control your own beast? I wonder."
Hmm. I wonder that indeed. The beast inside me is very, very much frantic in his basic needs. But I have learned that if it desires release, then who am I to stop it? Who am I to prevent it from doing what it does naturally? I feel that rush, that exhilaration that comes when it is at the very door, about to break it down. That is how all Canaanites should be, don't you think? The beast just banging at the door, threatening to be let out. And yet you continue on with your life. You continue with the nights. You feed, you commune and talk with mortals, hoping that the beast doesn't come out. If only more people understood that, instead of trying to hide their beast away, keeping it under lock and key as if that makes it impossible for it to come out. You know this better than I. Perhaps that the beast, no matter how many times you put it away, no matter how many times you try to block it and keep it locked away in a chest somewhere, it'll always come out, as it is a part of us.
Madeline is smiling very, very widely at her. Quite genuine. She will ask, "May I ask you a personal question?"
Well, you are my guest. It would be rude of me not to indulge you more than I already have. Please, ask your question.
I wonder what road you follow. Certain things in the way you described seems to fall quite a lot in line with my own road, which is comforting to know.
Well, I believe that. Let me ask you a question. Do you know of the Morning Star?
I think Madeline would know.
Lucifer, basically.
She is referring. I was quite certain that was what was being. Yeah. She. I was just making sure. Madeline will just say, Lucifer, if you believe the Christians, one thing. If you ask, well, there are very much divided opinions on what exactly he is.
Well, then perhaps this is a monumentous occasion then, because then I can explain what he is to me. You see, Lucifer, the angel that fell from heaven, Christians believe him to be an example of the hubris, that he is what is wrong, that everything that happens is his fault. I do not believe that. You see, Lucifer, and she gets up from the chair, and as she does so, you can see uh, what looks to be a mouth with horrible looking teeth, very, very teeth, kind of where her back was. She goes, Lucifer, believed himself to be at the same level as God, that he had no desire to serve humanity, a lesser being. And so he convinced his brethren to rebel with him, to fight against the oppressive nature of God and the kingdom of heaven. He was thwarted, of course, and he and his ilk were thrown into the fiery hell. But is that not a person, a being to emulate, to rebel against authority, to rebel against someone who deems themselves above you, one who is unworthy of your affection, who is weak, who must be removed like a tumor? That is my path, my dear Madeline. God is not worthy of my veneration. Lucifer, on the other hand, is very much more my God. But you said very close to you.
Well, the praxis of learning through pain is something that is very wise indeed.
Yes. Certainly a practitioner of Lilith would know that. It would seem that we have far more in common than perhaps that. I am a purveyor of Lucifer, and there are many stories that I've read among many different documents of Lucifer and Lilith in interesting ways. I wonder. And she kind of comes up to you.
And by the way, I rolled another when she saw the mouth.
Okay.
She rolled
Oh.
again, and she is very, very good. She has
Yeah,
three successes on the courage roll, so she's bossing it.
Yeah, she is not sweating bullets right now. Not at all. And so, Narkisa, as she comes up to you, goes, "Perhaps we can help each other then. Tell me, what do you think of the actions of the treaty that had been in place here? The protection of the Toreador and the Tremere against, well, the true heirs, after all."
You cannot fault the political move. A sound move to keep power and to maintain control.
Yes, but all that it did, my dear Matt, much like keeping the beast in check, just allowed it to fester. I think you already know how you deal with a festering wound.
Oh, I do.
Beautiful.
But I would say that such a thing as in regards to this war, this conflict. The Tremere are not necessarily what I would call a defenseless enemy just to be swept aside. They're quite capable.
Of that, I am fairly certain. But there is a thing to be said about fighting against impossible odds, after all. And she looks at one of your one of your ghouls, and she smiles at him. Your retainers are very, very beautiful. Are they of sensible stock?
Hmm. As you might know, I tend to draw not from the highest or the lowest, only for those most worthy of following my path. Where they come from in life does not matter as much to me as whether or not they have learned, whether or not they are worthy of the teachings I teach them. I suppose you could say Reginald is not too ugly, but Geralt is. I would not call him a striking beauty. A certain rough charm to him, I suppose.
She, as you say that, she says rather politely, "May I?" And she kind of moves her hand as if to indicate what she wishes to do. I think I can improve him.
See, this is interesting because Madeline will be kind of freaked out by that, but I'm not gonna roll again because she is like she is doing for it. She is going to roll a willpower. Yeah, she is going to roll willpower. It's going to be current willpower, so it's going to be one less. And whoa, okay. Um, yeah, Madeline, what you say? No, no, that will not be required. Yes, that would. It still takes her a couple of moments. She's just. I would. I have heard of this being a possibility. Your clan not using it to simply mutilate and close eyes or mouths, turn a leg useless, but to quite other means. And like she will notice that Madeline is pondering something, and she just looks at her. But it takes a while. As she, I do not believe that. You say it would be possible for you to change them, and that will not be necessary. They are quite fine as they are. But I wonder, would she again hesitates? Would it be possible for you to perhaps change at some point, of course? my appearance?
As you say that, she looks at you. Why, I would never do such a thing to you, my dear Madeline. I mean, I could do many things to improve you. Of that there is no doubt. In my mind already, I'm already thinking of the things I could do to improve you in ways that would astound you. But it would be wrong of me to do so to my guest, unless it was agreed upon in a civil fashion, not with words, with writing, perhaps, a contract, maybe. I would consider it. And she, uh, goodness. Let me see my little thing here. And she goes, a demonstration first would be far more better for you. And let me get my thingy here. Da, da, da.
And Madeline will call over one of her ghouls. She will just whisper something to. She will whisper something like, "She's remember your lessons and any pain is a blessing." Things she normally says to them on a fairly persistent basis.
Uh, as she, goodness, as she, you can feel her touching his face. You can actually see her hand slowly, very, very slowly, minutely, is touching him. And she's going to use the transmogrify the mortal clay. But she is going to be doing something a little bit more interesting. Which of the ghouls did she give him? I mean, give her, I should say.
Reginald.
Reginald. Okay. And Reginald is the somewhat. What's his appearance score?
I think they have the same actually, but I will check. That is not. Reginald has an appearance score of 2.
Okay. So let me just get my little sheet again. Because it is dexterity plus bodycraft. Which I can never seem to find at times. Can be very confusing. But let us see what she can get as she is attempting this. Oh, actually, if I remember exactly, yes, a difficulty of 5. Yes, for reducing appearance. Appearance can be changed as described under malleable visage. Reducing. In any case, she has 2 successes for this. As she is touching Reginald's face, you can actually see, much like clay being formed, her actually kind of pulling through his skin, shaping it. He is grunting in pain. It's very obviously painful as she is doing so. She kind of squares his jaw. She kind of brings his head to a bit more of a refined shape. His eyes are kind of expanded on very slightly. And as she kind of pulls her hand away. The Reginald that you know of it is not an appearance too. He is a little bit more kind of repulsive, I would say. He is an appearance of one. The way that she squared the jaw was she literally squared it. So it's very pronounced, very thick. The eyes are, as I said, expanded very slightly, so they don't exactly fit the skull very well. His head, meant to be more regal, is as if the regal person suffered from the cone. It's a birthing defect that can happen with the cranial shape is kind of becomes more cone. And she goes, more marvelous. Of course, if I had more time, I could do far more things to him, but I think he is already a handsome man. Now, as she claps her hands again, you are brought a parchment and ink. And she writes down very quickly a contract. And she gives it to you. The contract is very simple, very basic, very elegant, as I would say. Essentially stating that you, Madeline, are giving her permission to change you in a way or another. Fully consent to this. That there will be no reprisals from your clan if something happens. And that you will seek greater friendship with the Samitsi. Like I said, a very basic contract.
She can roll perception empathy.
Certainly. And I am going to do my manipulation subterfuge. So let's... It's got 2.
And she herself, because Madeline is... I'm going to roll for... First is that is to see... Oh, I have 5 successes. And Madeline is going to do a manipulation subterfuge to hide something. Try to. And she has 3.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she has 5 successes on the perception empathy.
Okay. As you notice from the body language of Narakisa, as she is kind of looking at you, you can certainly tell that she is definitely thinking of what she can do to you. Maybe she's thinking of increasing your muscle, make you stronger, tougher, maybe make you a bit more elastic, a bit more able to move freely. You don't need a spine, really, to function. Or she could perhaps protrude some of the bones out of your body and make you a usable mace. You're not too sure what she's thinking of. All you know is that she definitely looks like she can do, and maybe wants to do lots of things with you. Yeah.
Madeline will just say, as she's hiding that she is definitely uncomfortable even considering this. It's only because I got, like, only successes on her willpower roll she's even considering this. Let's be honest. This is very uncomfortable with her. But she will just say, oh, I know this is quite a big decision for me, and well, we have a Lyceum upcoming. This will take most of my time, and I do believe that this will take time to do, but I will take this with me and consider it. I will bring a message to you on my decision as soon as I can.
Wonderful. I will await your decision. She calls for Orso, and he kind of lumbers out, and you see him holding what looks to be a something that looks like that could have been a dog at some point or another. And now it's just kind of a wiggly thing of eyeballs and teeth. Very, very not what a dog should be anymore. And she tells him to escort you back to the outskirts of the domain.
Before that happens, Madeline will say, oh, and I do hope to see you in the Elysium, in Timuran. It would be my very good pleasure to return the favor of your good hosting.
She smiles and goes, I cannot guarantee that, but we will see. Or so take her and her escort. Norso nods as your Reginald kind of touches his face. He's fairly horrified, I would say, of what has been done to his face.
Madeline smiles at him. And she will just, as they're walking out, she will remind him again, like, whatever ways he might be hurting, or he will be hurt in the future, it's all a lesson. And with every lesson, he grows stronger.
Yes, indeed.
And as Madeline is escorted out of the area, I do believe that the scene will come to a close.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, ST for ST, and me for playing, and thank you watchers for watching. Good night.